and welcome to Inside Nigeria, your favorite news by headline review show. Today I have a lot of interesting stories to share with you, and I'll be doing that in just about 5 minutes. And once I'm done, I will hand over to Winifred in the studio to do justice to the stories. My name is Tion Joseph, your regular host. Permit me to begin today's show with Leadership newspaper, which is the most influential newspaper in Nigeria. On the front page of Leadership this morning, the story says insecurity may disenfranchise 11 million voters in Southeast. Collection of new 930,000 PVCs in shaky start. Sit-at-home order stores exercise in Anambra, Enugu, Imo. Ensure they get their PVCs or be charged security agencies. That is the report we have from Leadership this morning. We ask that you hop onto our website www.leadership.ng to find even more stories. Now we take a look at the Nation. And on the Nation this morning, the lead story says 5 killed in attack on another INEC office in Southeast. 2 policemen, 3 attackers dead in crossfire. IPOP behind attack, says police. This is the report we have from the Nation. We now move quickly to the Punch. And on the Punch this morning, the lead story says INEC PDP office is raised. Scores killed in Southeast Kaduna. Politicians sponsoring attacks on INEC offices, says Uzodima. Gunmen, soldiers clash in Obonyi. Soldiers cop communities attack villagers. Military invades volatile Kaduna local government areas. Traders, artisans, civil servants flee as government enforcing sit-at-home evade Abakaliki market burnt. That is the report we have from the Punch newspaper. That takes us to the Vanguard. And on the Vanguard this morning, the list of his politicians indulging voters with money buying PVCs. This is coming from INEC. A worrisome development, says PDP. Those who weaponize poverty behind purchase of PVCs, Labour Party. Politicians creating problems for electoral systems. Afeni Ferre, INEC must invalidate stolen bought PVCs. Pandev, INEC left openings for manipulations or harnesser. That is the report we have from the Vanguard. Now to conclude the first part of the show, let's take a look at Vanguard. And the list story on the Vanguard this day this morning says Obasanjo, Nigeria at crossroads, needs leader with right character, says he's paid his dues. That is where we will conclude today's part of the show, the first part of the show. We now will move to the second part of the show, and I crave your indulgence to stay tuned. My name is Tion Joseph. I'll be back your way again 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Do have a great day.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Good morning. Welcome to Tuesday edition of Inside Nigeria. This is a breakfast segment of the show. Inside Nigeria is reaching you on Leadership Television. Today, we are going to be having our guest, a virtual guest on the program. He's also an in-house analyst, Paul Wadima. My name is Winifred Webo. It's my pleasure to host you on today's program. We are looking at leadership as usual, and leadership is Nigeria's most influential newspaper. Let's see what the headline story is saying this Tuesday, December 13th, 2022. Leadership says insecurity may disenfranchise 11 million voters in Southeast. Insecurity may disenfranchise 11 million voters in Southeast. This is a leading story on leadership this Tuesday, and the story is on page 4 of the paper. For more on the stories, you can get a hard copy or log on to their website, www.leadership.ng. Collection of new 930,000 PVCs in shaky start. Sit-at-home order stores exercise in Anambra, Enugu, Imo. Ensure they get their PVCs, OB charges security agencies. Before I move on to the next paper on our menu, but it's still the same leading story on some of the papers we have for review this morning, I want to first and foremost welcome Paul Wadima to the program. Paul Wadima, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
This program, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Just read out a leadership leading story. It says insecurity may disenfranchise 11 million voters in Southeast. Insecurity may disenfranchise 11 million voters in Southeast, says collection of new 930,000 PVCs in shaky start. Collection of new 930,000 PVCs in shaky start. Sit-at-home order stores exercise in Anambra, Enugu, Imo. Ensure they get their PVCs, OB charges security agencies. And the same story is what we have in the same story in the other papers like The Nation. This Nation is leading with 5 killed in attack on another INEC office in Southeast. 5 killed in attack on another INEC office in Southeast. 2 policemen, 3 attackers dead in crossfire. IPOB behind attack, say police. IPOB behind attack, say police. Still on the same issue of Southeast voters is also the same leading story on The Punch. The Punch says INEC PDP offices raised, scores killed in Southeast Kaduna. INEC PDP offices raised, scores killed in Southeast Kaduna. Politicians sponsoring attacks on INEC offices, says Uzodima. Government soldiers clash in Ebonyi. Soldiers home communities attack villages. Military invades volatile Kaduna local government areas. Traders, artisans, civil servants flee as government enforcing sit-at-home invade Abakaliki market burnt. That is The Punch. INEC PDP offices raised, scores killed in Southeast Kaduna. And same story on the Vanguard. Vanguard newspaper says politicians inducing voters with money buying PVCs, INEC. Politicians inducing voters with money buying PVCs, INEC. A worrisome development, says PDP. Those who weaponize poverty behind purchase of PVCs, LP, that is Labour Party. Politicians creating problems for electoral system, Afenifere. INEC must invalidate stolen bought PVCs, Pandef. INEC left openings for manipulation, Ohaneze. These are the leading stories on today's, most Nigerian newspapers this Tuesday. The leading with the insecurity situation in the Southeast and how it may disenfranchise voting in South. What do you have to say, Mr. Paul?
Once again, thank you for having me. I think leadership is right. If the insecurity in the Southeast is allowed to fester, it will definitely affect the ability of the Nigerian government to conduct election in the Southeast. It will disenfranchise 11 million voters in the Southeast. But the major issue that we need to address is what should Nigeria and Southeast do about it?
Yes.
Because the important thing is this: everything must be done to ensure that there is peace and security in the Southeast, so that residents of Southeast can participate effectively in the electoral process. Now, who bears responsibility for this, for security of lives and property in the Southeast? First, let us look at the first line of charge in terms of security. Is the local communities and the state governments. They are supposed to be able to manage security within the zone, especially the state governors. After all, they appropriate billions of naira annually on the budget for security. So they need to deploy it to ensure that there is peace in the Southeast. However, there is a limit to what governors in the Southeast could be able to do in terms of security. Because at the end of the day, the major security stakeholder in Nigeria is President Muhammad Buhari, because he is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If there is any part of Nigeria that is insecure, it lies squarely on his table, because he has been employed by Nigerians to secure their lives and property. So the problem now is, what is federal government doing to ensure security in the Southeast? I'll give you an example. There is a certain man called Simon Ekpa who has been instigating violence in the Southeast. He is based in Finland. His videos and Facebook broadcasts are everywhere. I expect that all the security agencies in Nigeria, both the DSS, the NIA, and all of the security apparatus in Nigeria are aware of this man. He lives in Finland. Finland has a diplomatic relationship with Nigeria. Finland has an ambassador here in Nigeria. What has federal government of Nigeria done to ensure that Simon Ekpa is brought to book? What diplomatic leverage has federal government applied to ensure that this man that is everywhere on social media, everywhere on YouTube, instigating violence? In fact, this present crisis you are seeing now was part of the threat he made that there will be no election in the Southeast. Just ordinarily, a government that is serious ought to have deployed his diplomatic powers to bring this young man to order and to make sure that he's locked up, either under Nigerian law or under Finland law or European Union law. But the federal government of Nigeria have done virtually nothing, or seem to have done nothing. If they have done anything about Simon Ekpa that is instigating violence in the Southeast, Let them come and tell Nigerians, because that is why I tell you the insecurity in the Southeast, the blame is squarely on the federal government of Nigeria, because there is an existential threat, and the person instigating it is a known face. He is on social media. He lives in Finland. Finland has an ambassador in Nigeria. Has the Finland ambassador ever been summoned by the federal government of Nigeria over the threats that this young man is making from Finland? No. So we have to be able to tell ourselves the truth. Federal government has to rise up to its responsibility of securing lives and property of people of Southeast and all over the country. We know that insecurity is everywhere. Even the president's home state of Katsina is not secured.
Oh, thank you so
there
much.
There are about 12 or more local governments in his state that are under bandits occupation. So we know that there's a lot of insecurity, but there are things that federal government can do to be able to address the problem in the Southeast. And this problem, federal government can easily handle it by, first of all, deploying its diplomatic powers through the European Union, through the Finland, through the United Nations, so that this Simon Ekpa, who have been issuing threats, urging people to kill people who oppose sit at home and all that. So federal government can do something about it, but federal government cannot stand as if it is helpless. It knows what to do, and I think it should do it. And one of the reports, Governor Ozodimma was blaming political opponents,
yes,
for the crisis. He's blaming political opponents when even the police themselves are blaming IPOP. Does it mean that Ozodimma knows more than the police that say it's IPOP that are doing it, allegedly? So that is where the problem lies in insecurity. Politicians trying to politicize insecurity. Because the police said those responsible allegedly were IPOP members. Now Ozodimma himself, the governor, the chief security officer, say it was his political opponents. He said politicians who don't want to contest the election. How did he get his own evidence? How many security officials does he have around Imo State that he knows more than the police that are spread all over the state? So these are the issues. First of all, there should be need for politicians to stop politicizing insecurity. It is a serious issue. We are talking about lives of Nigerians. Already in the report, you learned that people were killed.
Yes. Now, I want to ask you one question that it baffles Nigerians. Now, would you say that the Igbos will cut their nose, like the saying goes, cut their nose to spite their face, given the fact that this stay-at-home order every Monday, they must enforce it? And you have a situation whereby they are the ones that are into business, into trading, in still the same locality, and they will insist that they will enforce this sit-at-home order. So who is at a loss? Who will lose? And the same thing with killings. Many people are saying that why would Igbos be this? I wouldn't want to use the word foolish. Cut their nose to spite their face. You understand? Given that the killings are predominantly among them too, well-known citizens of Igbo land, they are killing them, and at the same time they are still enforcing this at home order. And it's also coming at the time that a prominent person from their own zone, talking about Peter Obi, is contesting for the #1 seat in the land. What do you have to speak to that?
First of all, I have to say this: the killings in the Southeast is condemnable. But it is the responsibility of the federal government, it's the responsibility of the President Muhammad Buhari administration to restore law and order every part of the country. This IPOP that used to be fingered for the sit-at-home, for the violence in the Southeast, how many are they that federal government of Nigeria, with its numerous security outlets, cannot be able to put them in check. How many are there? So that is the first question. To me, I think there is lack of commitment on the part of federal government to ensure that they rein in these boys or whoever they are that are threatening the peace and security in the Southeast. Now, these people who are threatening peace and security in the Southeast, they are not spirits. They need to be identified. Nigerians need to know who they are. Let me give you a typical example. When they say that some of the police in the report claim that some of those who attacked the INEC office were killed, what is their name? What is their identity? There was even a report that even one of them was caught alive. What is his name? What is his family compound? Because we have this tendency in this country that we don't want to tell ourselves the truth. Either the police are hiding something or the other security agencies are hiding something. They will cover it with unknown gunmen. If an American gunman is caught or shot somebody on the streets of America, even if he's dead, people will know his name. People will know where the street he lived and everything. Why is it that those that the police are killing as airport members, we don't know their names? Everybody covers everything as unknown gunmen. Unknown gunmen must be known. They have names. Like those who are involved in this bombing of INEC office. Let the police release the names of those people that died. Those people that came to attack the INEC office and died, they should get the name. Let Nigerians know their family names, their compound they came from in Southeast.
No,
the one they got alive, let them tell us their names. You know why I'm telling you this is because it is important for the security agents to come clean. Okay? So that we actually know those who are responsible for what is happening in Southeast.
If they are fifth columnists, we have security actors.
I didn't get it clearly, sorry.
Like we have Southwest, who established Amoteku. So what about the Southeast? I thought they had something like a Beagu, something like that, a security outfit. So
of course they have it. Yeah, I agree with you. Yes.
These are not government in their midst. Did you get that?
Okay, let me reply this way. Let me tell you this way. Southwest have Bubagu, have Omotekun. Sorry, Southwest they have Omotekun. But did you remember that INEC offices were bombed? Yes, I mean Southwest they have Omotekun, but that didn't stop the bombing of INEC offices recently in 2 states in the Southwest, because those ones are not supposed to be the frontline security agents that should stop attacks. Okay? So Omoteku couldn't stop the bombing of INEC offices in Southwest recently. So I don't think that Bubagu that they have in the South.
Some of these gunmen and all these crime people who commit crime, but we have not seen cases like that in the Southeast.
Well, it's because perhaps the media are not reporting it, but I know that Bubagu is very effective in Ebonyi State. I know that he's very effective in Ebonyi State, even though in Ebonyi State, it's also been politicized. Because if you ask the opposition parties in Ebonyi State, they claim that Bubagu is being deployed to destroy the opposition in Ebonyi State. Okay? You can cross-check it on Google or elsewhere. The opposition have accused the governor of Ebonyi State of deploying Bubagu against them. So that is another issue that also need to be looked into when we talk about insecurity in the Southeast. The Bubagu has not actually succeeded, because if he has succeeded, perhaps it would have been able to curtail this issue of sit at home and be able to rein in the so-called IPOP members that are allegedly perpetrating it.
Okay, now I want you to speak to this other story.
I think you understand what
So INEC is on the Vanguard newspaper. It says politicians using voters with money buying PVCs. INEC. How is this going to play out, given the fact that INEC has insisted on the use of beavers?
That to me is the way I look at it. Is either there is another thing they know that many of us Nigerians we don't know, because I know that with beavers and electronic transmission of results.
Oh yes.
Under beavers you cannot be accredited except you are cleared either by your fingerprint or by your face. So there is facial or fingerprint accreditation of voters. And if you fail in these two, under the new Electoral Act, you cannot participate in the election. There is no incident paper. Now it beats my imagination how somebody can collect another person's PVC and use it.
Exactly.
It will be
it's something that INEC is not telling us.
But for INEC to raise alarm, then INEC has to tell us the reason why they are raising alarm. Because we are made to understand that with beavers accreditation, it is virtually impossible for we to encounter a situation of double voting and voting without registration, without accreditation. It's not like in the past election where if you cannot be accredited, you can collect incidence form. Under the new Electoral Act, beavers accreditation is the only pathway for you to vote in the election. However, if there are other areas that those who want to sabotage the election have found out, it is left for the Nigerian security agencies, the police, the DSS, the NIA, and all the other paramilitary organizations that we have in this country to see how they can intervene to stop it.
Yes, because
perhaps we cannot toy with the 2023 election.
As watertight as INEC makes Nigerians to believe.
Who said that? I don't agree. I'm speaking based on what INEC has said and what I have read about this use of beavers. I think that there are threats to it. Don't forget, already the APC national chairman has raised issue about the capacity of INEC to deploy beavers and other technologies ahead of the election. By doing that, it means that there are people who are uncomfortable for the use of this technology, and anything they could do, either to sabotage it or to stop the use of it, they will do it. But I believe that Nigerians are vigilant people. This election, the Electoral Act, many Nigerians are aware how long it took President Muhammad Buhari, to sign the 2022 Electoral Act into law. There was prevarication all over the place. There was pressure here and there, and now it has been signed. So Nigerians must insist that the coming election must stick to the letter of the 2022 Electoral Act. The beavers must be used. Electronic transmission of result must be applied, and that is the only pathway for Nigeria to have free and fair election. We have tried the other manual accreditation, use of incident form and all that. It didn't work for us. We have seen a pathway that can help Nigeria to have free and fair election. Therefore, I believe that all Nigerians of goodwill should support INEC to ensure that application of technology is 100% in the coming election.
Thank you so much. On that, we've come to the half segment of the show. When we come back, we will be looking at the other paper we have on our menu today. Viewers, don't go away. Stay tuned.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Yes, you're welcome back. In case you're just joining us, the program is Inside Nigeria. It's a breakfast segment of Inside Nigeria and is reaching you on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Ubebo, and with me in the studio has been an in-house analyst, Paul Wadima. Paul, thank you so much once again for your presence this Tuesday morning. We have the next paper on our menu, and that is This Day. This Day says Obasanjo, Nigeria at crossroads, needs leader with right character. Obasanjo, Nigeria at crossroads, needs leader with right character. Says he's paid his dues. That's the leading story on This Day newspaper. Nigeria at crossroads.
Okay.
Needs leader with right character, says Obasanjo.
I think Obasanjo is right. Absolutely right.
Yes, Nigerian reads. Everybody agreed that Nigeria, actually, at this critical period in our time now, we need a leader with right character. But this against the story that we just analyzed on Vanguard newspaper that many politicians are buying up PVCs, and are Nigerians actually ready to have leaders with good character lead them?
I think Nigerians are ready.
The backdrop of PVCs being against the backdrop of politicians inducing voters with money, buying up PVCs. Are Nigerians actually ready for good leadership?
Yeah. Yes. Nigerians are very sensible people. Nigerians are very religious people. Nigerians are law-abiding people. The problem of Nigeria, as late Professor Chinua Achebe said, the problem of Nigeria rests squarely on leadership. And this leadership is at the center of our problem, poor leadership. Because if you look at those who are allegedly buying the PVCs or whatever, these are people who lack character. Okay? Those who believe, who have character, the kind of leaders that Nigeria need that have character that Obasanjo was talking about, they will not go about looking for PVCs to buy. They will be addressing the issues facing Nigeria. They will be interacting with the Nigerian people. They will not be feeling too pompous to talk to Nigerians. They will not be feeling sense of entitlement to preside over Nigeria, because they would have known that they are applicants seeking for employment and that their employers are Nigerians. They will do everything possible within the law to owe them, because 2023 is about the contest of ideas. It's not supposed to be about money, but they are trying to make it about money. You see those who are buying PVCs. These are people that have weaponized poverty. They are the reason why the country is the way it is today. So Obasanjo is saying we don't need such people again to govern this country. We don't need such people again to preside over our legislature. We don't need such people again to be in the Aso Rock Villa. People who lack character, people who buy PVCs, people who buy votes. These are people who lack character. These are looters, people who have looted the treasury dry and are now using their resources illegally acquired. Of course, when you say things like this, they say, has they been convicted? We don't need to, they don't have to be convicted. Perception is everything. Let me tell you something. Transparency International, when they do their corruption perception index, they do it, what does the people perceive? Okay? This perception index is enough to know the issue about corruption. How does Transparency International rate corruptions around the world? Is by perception. There are certain politicians we perceive are looters. Nigerians perceive them as looters. Nigerians perceive them as lacking characters. And it is this same set of people that Obasanjo is saying such characters should not be allowed to rule over Nigeria again, because Nigeria is at a crossroad. Nigeria needs a new beginning. Nigeria needs people who have character, capacity, competencies. And these are people also who must come down to the level of Nigerians. Nigerians are not trying to put in the presidential villa an emperor. They are trying to put in a president that they elect from all the wards of Nigeria, all the electoral wards in Nigeria, from all the polling units in Nigeria. They are not looking for people who are emperors, people who feel they have all the money to buy everybody, to buy PVCs. No. Such characters are the ones that Obasanjo is saying they must be rejected if Nigeria is to make headway. Already, these characters constitute the bulk of those who have presided over this country from 1999 to date. So there is a need for a break from these politicians that don't have character. That's what Obasanjo is saying. And I think that majority of Nigerians will agree with Obasanjo on that statement.
Okay. Thank you so much for your thoughts this Tuesday morning, and for your presence too, Paul Wadman. Look forward to see you more on the program. This is where we call it a day on today's Inside Nigeria. My name is Winifred Ugweba, and I look forward to seeing you same time, same station tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.